Welcome to this channel, where you learn about personal finance and career. And today we are continuing on this series of your journey into Germany, like making it in Germany in terms of studying and also in terms of moving on to a career and everything about it. How to, migrate into Germany as a student or as a career person. And today on this session, like I promised in the last video, that we are going to be having someone who had studied, who had done this journey before, who had come to study and all of that. So this person I'm having today has done that, been there, done that kind of vibe. So his name is Tobi Ojekule. So I don't want to introduce him myself, because when you introduce people, sometimes the main things that they're supposed to say you don't know. So I'm going to introduce, or let Tobi speak now, and he's going to introduce himself and then we can pick it from there. So welcome Tobi to the studio.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Is a very great honor for me to be here, to be on your platform, to speak about myself. So as you said earlier, my name is Tobi Ojekule. I come from Nigeria. I grew up in Oyo State, in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. I did my primary school there, my secondary school there, and also a year in the university, in University of Ibadan also. So all my life was just in Ibadan. Everything I did until I moved on to coming over to Germany. And I come from a family of 7. I have my parents, my dad, my mom, and 4 siblings. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. Yes, and
wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I moved to Germany 2013 after 1 year in University of Ibadan. Then I did my bachelor year in Germany. Then I moved on to my master's. In 2016, I started my master's, finished 2018. Then from 2018, I started working in sustainability section or business. Yes, exactly.
That's impressive. So for me, I see you as a testament of, this works, this thing of, coming to Germany to study and moving on to start a career in an area that is currently an hot cake. I mean, sustainability in energy sector is a hot cake area right now when we talk about ESGs, right? So for me to see that person who has I'm sure your parents are in Nigeria, right? And all your family members and everybody. And then you came as a teenager to Germany. You came, you studied, you did your bachelor's, you did your bachelor's, master's, and you went on to start a career. For me in corporate Germany, I think you've done well for yourself so far, and I would say congratulations. I believe this introduction that you've given would give some of our viewers, or most of our viewers, perspective of saying, it is possible to come to Germany to study, be successful in that study, even if it's a bachelor, go ahead and do a master's, right? And move from doing a master's, getting a job in an area that's fits into what you're looking at. So I think it's a good thing. It's fabulous. It's amazing that that I have you here, because I've got loads of questions for you, and I'm sure our viewers would also have loads and loads of questions for you.
Thanks so much for having me, and I'm willing to share everything.
So our viewers, if you have any question at all that you would like to discuss, that you would like us to share, make sure that you drop them in the comment section of this video. I would pick them up and then probably bring back Tobi, if depending on how the questions are. So we are going to probably do that, but drop them in the comment section, and then we'll see how it goes from there. All right, so let's start, or let's go straight into the questions. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yes.
So you said you started studying in University of Ibadan in Nigeria, and then you moved after 1 year, after your 100 levels. And as a matter of fact, I'm also a white, so I also finished from University of Ibadan. For your information, people, Great UI, the premier university. Okay, so but I was not like Tobi. I didn't dump my bachelor's in Nigeria. I finished.
You're making me feel a little bit bad for dumping UI.
Dumped into the family. Once a UI is forever a UI, so it's okay. Anyway, back to the business of the day.
Yeah.
So how did you get to that point of saying, you starting a bachelor's degree already in Nigeria and then moving now, to another country to start all over again. How did that happen for you? What came into that decision? Is this something that you've thought of before, even before you gained admission in Nigeria, or it was something you thought of when you already started studying in Nigeria? You thought, okay, I really want to have international experience. So how did that process work for you?
Yes, so it started way before I got admission even into University of Ibadan to study. Like it started when I was in SS2, like in high school, like last 2 years of high school already. And there's a little bit of story tied to that because back at home then in Ibadan, one day my dad just opened the bonnet of the car, to fix something in the car, of his car. Then I saw the logo. It was like Mercedes Benz, made in Germany. I was like, wow, really? Made in Germany? Yeah. So that was the first time I got attracted to Germany. I was like, oh, I would love to, go to this country to, study engineering. And my dad was like, it's a very good country. It's very cheap, affordable, much more affordable than the USA and everything.
Did that study in Germany or thereabouts?
No, he studied in Nigeria, but he had like this knowledge, this little bit of information about education. So yes. So he said, oh yeah, that if I'm interested, we could look into Germany, which would be much more better for me than going to the UK or going to the USA to study. So I said, let's when it's time, when I write my WAEC, my JAM, my GC, then we could look into it. So I started processing it by the side.
For people who are not Nigerians that are watching this video, so WAEC is it's what we call West African Examination Council. So it's like ordinary levels, right? So it's what you do after 12 years of a secondary education, after your primary and secondary school. So you have like 12 years, and that's at that point that you do your WAEC. I just needed to chip that in for people to know.
Yes. So all of these, university qualification examinations that we had to write, my dad was like, "Oh, take it so seriously. Like, write it, and we'll see if you could, look for some schools abroad in Germany for it to apply to." So we started that till my SS3, my last year in the high school. But as we were making applications, getting some rejection letters and all that things. Then I applied to UI, like with the University of Ibadan, with my, all my university qualification examinations, results and everything. And then I just started, my studying in University of Ibadan until I was almost done with my 100 level when I got an admission letter from a school that I applied to years back. Yeah. And the school said... Yeah.
So finish that story, then I would ask my question.
Yes. So the school said, "Oh, we got your application last year, but it was after our deadline, and but for this year we are trying to reconsider you for this year admission. Are you interested?" Okay. And I was like, "Oh, of course I'm interested." Wow. But before that, yes. But before that, I've applied to some other schools before, like asking me to, maybe go for German classes or get some extra qualifications or write some extra exams, and I could not really do that at that moment. So I was like a bit in between, and then I said, let me just focus on my University of Ibadan, finish there, then maybe look at it again in the future. But exactly.
Wow.
But then this opportunity just came into play. I was like, maybe this is the time God wants me to leave.
So just grab it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I can remember back then I was done with examinations and I was in Lagos with my cousins and I got an email on my phone and I was like, I can't believe this. I showed my cousin and I was like, I was just dumbfounded. I was surprised.
What? So let me ask you a question. So this you said, so at what time did you start planning? Did you start the application process?
Yes. So I started like I would say a year before I finished secondary school actually.
Okay, so
yes.
Okay.
Like looking into schools already, looking out for informations, trying to find out how to apply and what they need and all that things. I started like a year before I finished secondary school.
But then you did not have your WAEC, your O levels as at that time you were applying, right?
No, not yet. No, I didn't have it.
So how did you now, what result did you now use to apply? Because now if you don't have your, you get what I'm saying. So you don't have your O levels yet,
Yes.
but you still went ahead to apply. So what were the results? What were the documents you used in applying, despite the fact that your O levels was not ready?
Yes. So back then I was just like writing, letters, and also showing them my secondary school degrees and my grades in secondary school, and telling them that I'll also be done with school, and also applying through uni assist to, like, just exactly. I made a lot of applications. I spent a little bit of money on uni assist also, to just spread out my wings, and get a little of opportunity, with the hope that they will consider me and ask me to send me a result when they are ready.
They are ready.
For example.
Wow. So you had that hope that, let me just send whatever I have with my current school, and then
Yes.
whenever the results, if they offer me the admission, they can then probably ask for the real O levels, and then I can send it to them. That was what you did.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
that's interesting. And then you also mentioned uni assist. So what was the role of uni assist in all of this?
In my coming to Germany, uni assist did not really play any much role, but uni assist is good in the regards of helping you to sending your documents to other schools. For example, like you have this central platform, uni assist, and then you pay them a little fee, and they send your documents, like the schools you want, in a proper way you want it. Yeah. So that was why I looked into uni assist. But I didn't only focus on uni assist. I also applied directly to some schools myself. Yeah.
And the school you eventually got, was it through uni assist or it was a direct one?
It was a direct one.
Okay.
Direct one.
So uni assist is good, but then you can also apply directly yourself.
Yes, exactly.
That's good. And then the other question I have is that, you said that so you applied you applied anyway, despite the fact that the school had already passed their deadline.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, I was not fully aware of the deadline. Actually, I was like, okay, I was back at home. Then I was like, with the opinion that, okay, if I send in my application right now, maybe they could still. They said it was still November something, but I was not sure of the exact date of the deadline. And I was hoping that the date of sending will also count as as within the deadline for me for them to get the documentation. But I guess with the postage and the posting and everything, and the postage system or something like that was not so perfect, also on time. Yeah. So I sent it anyways, and they told me that it got to them too late after the deadline.
Can you tell us what you did between the time you got the admission and the time you eventually came into Germany? What were the steps you took?
Yes.
And how long was that?
It was quite, so, like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 months of going to the embassy, for example, or first looking for a date, an appointment at the embassy was a big challenge for me. Like, the embassy's dates get booked on time. Like, you search in advance for a long period of time to get an appointment. So I first got an appointment at the embassy. Then for an interview, like I said, okay, I have I have my admission already, and then the next step for me was to get an appointment for interview to get my visa. So before doing that, they asked for, like, some requirements, like opening of a blocked account, and I had to, like, get my real admission letter from this university. So all of this took a little bit of time, like receiving the admission letter, opening the blocked account with Deutsche Bank here in Germany, and also sourcing for the fund was also a little bit of challenge. Back in my days, it was 8,000 something euros. Now it's 10,000. I don't know, 10,000 or something. Yeah.
Blocked account was like 7,000. I think 7,650 or 7,008.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess they just increased based on inflation and increase in cost of living. But like you said, today it's like, today as at 2021, it's like 10,000 euros, which for some people is a lot of money, I must say. But also, they just want to be sure that you are really, really covered, and they don't want to have any case of the person jumping back into their social system if the person is not able to support themselves. All right, so go ahead.
Exactly. So we had to spend a little bit of time, sourcing for the fund, My dad had to, and my parents had to like look for the fund for me. So it took a little bit of time, actually opening a blocked account, then putting in the money, getting like the confirmation I have the money, then using all of that, taking all of that along with me for the interview. After I got a date for the interview, yes. So I went for the interview, and then I had to answer questions like some they asked me questions about Germany. What are the states in Germany, for example? What are you going to do in Germany? So all of that. Then afterwards, the lady asked me to write an exam, like a mathematics exam.
Really? I was asked to write an exam during my own time.
You didn't write an exam? Oh wow, I wrote an exam.
My interview was like within 10 minutes, like interaction I have with the lady. Just okay, but go ahead. It's your discussion. No, go ahead. I'm enjoying this.
We had the normal interaction, like asking me about Germany, what my intentions and all of that thing, and what I want to do afterwards and all that. Then afterwards she was like, oh, you're going to study engineering, we have this mathematics examination for you to write. And without telling me beforehand that to prepare, I didn't know. I just went there to answer. I'll open my mouth and talk and leave the place. That was all I was planning to do. Then they gave me like a booklet with exam questions, and then then they asked me to sit down somewhere and answer the questions. And
are you kidding? I didn't know about that, guys. Did you hear that? So if you're going to study for bachelor or something, I think that's where they really come in with this.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. So it's like different strokes for different folks.
Exactly. They will say, okay, you have all of these results, right? So prove it to us that you actually have these results. Okay. Like you actually achieved all of this yourself. I guess that's it.
That was the thing. Interesting. Interesting. And thank God that you blasted it. You blasted it, because if you didn't blast it, how?
They don't call me back. Yeah, they would have called me back. Yes.
Wow. So. And how was the exam? So was it like all levels kind of, or advanced levels kind of exam, or was it like a university kind of exams? Was it commensurate to what they expect someone that is still a teenager to know, or how was it like?
It was like all level standard of exam.
Okay, like physics or just mathematics?
Mostly mathematics. Okay. Yeah.
Good. So guys, can you hear that? If you're thinking of going to Germany to study, maybe engineering or something like that, if in your country you require a visa, you might be asked at the embassy to write an exam. I didn't know that before. Thank you, Tobi, for for dropping that important information. All right. So
yes. So afterward they said they'll get back to me. Like he was like, thank you so much, you can go. And it took some weeks. I don't know how many weeks exactly. Maybe 3 weeks or so before I got a response to come back to the embassy. Just to come to the embassy, that's all. To pick they took my passport also. They had my passport with them also. So I got there. I sat down in the waiting room without knowing my fate. If I'll get a visa or not get a visa, nothing. I didn't know anything. Nothing. Exactly. It was a room full of people, and they're calling people in and giving them, their passport back with some papers, something like that, without knowing if they got visa or no got visa. I just sat down there like almost for hours. Then they called my name. Then they gave me my passports, and they didn't say anything more than that. Like they just gave me my passport and some my papers, my documents back that I submitted for the interview. And they told me to go. Yeah. So when I opened my passport, I saw like they pasted like a visa into it already. I was like, wow, I was so excited. Yeah. I was like, yes, yes. So the next step was to now look for money for flight. To fly to Germany.
Okay. I'm sure the Lord that provided the what's it called, the blocked account money, provided the money for flights.
Of course. The God that can provide 8,000 euros will provide 1,000 something I used to fly. Yes, wow. Yes. Yes, so that's how I landed. Yeah.
Okay, so between that time that you said, again, I just want to reconfirm for people, for Nigerians and non-Nigerians, for people that will be watching this, because I believe that a lot of people would see this video and just for them to have some kind of insight. So in summary, you between the time that you got that first congratulations, you've been admitted, to the time you got your visa, took you like 3 months.
Yes, it took me like 3 months. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It took me 3 months. Yeah. and I think it could take longer for some
Yeah,
people too, because I think I go a little bit, I'll say, blessed with the whole procedure of being fast. I know people that that takes 6 months for them, or before even getting an appointment at the embassy,
yeah, for
it
some
takes a
people.
longer time.
And I know that currently in
Yeah,
Nigeria it's really tough to get visa appointment.
yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, it's challenging.
Okay.
So mine was like a bit, yeah,
Fast
packed
track.
yeah, fast tracked. Yes, yes, fast track. I would say
Okay.
I was blessed. Yeah.
So the next question is that, you know, speaking German is really important when you're living in Germany. So tell us, how did you cope? Was your course in German or was it in English? And so you've been here now for like, let me say 7 years thereabouts, right?
Going to 8 years.
It will be 8 years this year. So you've been here for like, so how can you speak German now? What's your level of German? How did you, if yes, how did you learn? So you understand the two questions I'm asking, right? So it's about language, how did you cope with the language? What did you do? Did you have to study? Because I know that a lot of people actually do struggle because they have to study in German, right? So how was your experience like? What did you do about it?
So my bachelor course was, or the study was in English and also in German.
Okay.
Yes.
How many
We have,
percentage, if I may ask? What's the percentage like?
it's like 75% in English, 25% in German.
Wow, guys, can you hear that? It's possible. Like you can study in Germany in English. It is possible. Okay. So I think you can, yeah. I wanted to say you can drop because people might be asking, so what's your university? What university do you go to and what course? But if people ask, we'll drop that in the comment section. But go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay. So in the first few years, like in the first 2 years, it was basically in English. So I used that opportunity to study German too. My university also provided the opportunity, like, for us to study German, like to B2, like for free. So we're studying B2.
Or what level?
B2, yes.
Wow. And would that be you can actually now study in German, right?
Exactly.
Wow. So
Exactly.
again, your first 2 years, all the courses were in English, right? But then you
Yes.
had opportunity to take German classes so that maybe the third year and the fourth year you can now take German courses in German.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Guys, can you hear that?
Yes. So I did that for the first 2 years, but also it was not enough, because you have to, be able to be able to speak the language properly. You have to be able to understand it, listen to it properly, and be able to express yourself. So I ensured that my roommates, as in, it was so good in the way that the university placed international students with German students in the same dormitory.
Wow.
Like, yeah, so we had like a flat of 5 people, and I was the only international student. The others were German students.
Okay.
So anytime they wanted to speak
You're
English with
forced
me,
to
I'll
just
say
speak
no.
the language and then you can practice,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. So anything I learn from German for that day or for that
Bounce it
week,
on them.
just pass it on them. Exactly. All the rubbish that I can say, everything, just scatter it
Yeah,
and
you're
put it
elaborate
on
in
them.
that sense.
Exactly. And always ask them that, please correct me if I say anything wrong or something, or yes, I'll speak slowly so I can hear the words you're saying, so I can conjugate it. Exactly, I can conjugate properly, and pick each word and make sense out of it. Yes, it was a bit challenging at the beginning, but with time you start getting used to it. Like, a friend of mine advised me that, oh, just when you're at the train station or at a bus stop, for example, don't listen to music, listen to what people are saying around you, just to be listening, or put on a film in German, for example, and maybe use the subtitle, yeah, exactly, so you can be reading also. And so I use all possible means to listen to German, listen to them speak, read it or something like that, and also did all my assignments properly, and also um yeah, just make sure that I was attending the classes that was provided, and also practicing it, like, with people. So with that one, I was able to, like, pick it up. So I took it as a challenge for me to learn the language within 2 years, so that I could, yes, because I have that little bit of, you have that deadline stress in you, that in 2 years time you must learn this language, or else how will I do my German courses? How will I finish my bachelor if I cannot finish the last part in German? Yeah, so that was
Having that threshold in your mind just pushes you that, you know what, you don't want, there's no, you cannot do bachelors for life. You have to
exactly.
be able to graduate. You have to be able to write German to the confident level that you are able to do a term paper, submit an exam in German, and that drives, pushes you. That is what I
Yes,
see.
exactly. Yes. So I was looking at, I have 2 years, I have to get this thing done. And I did it. Like, yeah. Just challenging. And sometimes you would think, I would say, what am I saying? I don't understand what I'm saying or what I'm reading, but yeah, with time, with people asking questions around, or with the internet also, like you're just watching YouTube videos on different things, and one gets it, one gets it done. Yes. So,
Wow, I'm impressed. Well done. Well done. Well done. Okay, so I have a couple of other questions. So thank you for shedding a lot of light on that German thing, and also sharing tips, because in a way you also shared tips about how you learned German. What are the things you did. So I'm sure a lot of our viewers would also take that and apply it to their own learning skills and all of that. And if you put your heart to learning something, I can tell you, you will do it. All you need is the conviction that, okay, oh, I need to do this, and you can deliver it for yourself. All right, so let's move to the next question. I wanted to ask about, we talked about finances, we talked about blocked accounts. Was your school tuition free? Because as you know, this is a personal finance and career YouTube channel, and one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel was because I get a lot of questions from people who want to migrate to Germany because they know that I live in Germany, and in one of the videos I made recently, I explained that you can study in Germany for free, tuition free. So my question to you is, was your school tuition free, and how did you apply to only tuition free schools, or you also applied to schools that would cost you some money? So what did you do about that?
yes. So when searching for when I was searching for school, when I was searching for school back then, I was only searching for tuition free school because yeah, the money was not in abundance like that. So I was searching for tuition free schools. Then, but most of these tuition school and free schools are always with a little bit of semester fees that you have to pay for some semester, which is always like 200 and something euros, or 300 and something euros. Like, yes. So my focus was only on tuition free school. So when I got when I got admission to the one I studied in for my bachelor's, I came over here. Then I had to pay, like, I had only this 8,000 euros, and I had to be paying like every 6 months you have to pay, or you have a semester, then you have to pay like the tuition fee. But then you have the cost for your accommodation. You have cost for feeding. You have the cost for just living generally, which is it's a lot of money. And the 8,000 euros, you are burning it up a little bit, and then you are thinking of your brothers, your four siblings at home, and your mom at home, and your dad at home, and wondering if you get the money to renew your visa after 1 year if you finish the 8,000 euros. So with all of that at the back of my mind, I started working a little bit, like, yes, do some student jobs by the side to, yes. And also I applied for like scholarship. Like, I was always actively searching for scholarships online. Then I got one. I got like, after a year in school, I got like a it's called Deutschland Stipendium, like German scholarship for students. I got it from the school. So with that, I was able to support my monthly expenses, because they paid us every month. I think back in my days, they paid us 300 euros every
Wow,
month.
that would really reduce the burden on you, right?
Exactly, yes. So the most of the money I was making from my student jobs, I was using to, like, just saving it up for a year, so that I have to renew my visa every year. So I know that at the end of 1 year, I have a little bit of saving. Then I could just ask for maybe a little bit of money from my parents to support
Up
it.
to it, so they don't have the burden
Exactly,
they don't have to carry that 8,000 burden or whatever blocked account burden every year and year through your bank.
exactly,
Wow, that's good.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
are you done with answering that question?
Yes, so I want to say now, but now the school I attended is no longer tuition free. Now they charge 1.5 per semester.
Wow. Wow. What school was that?
Now it's University of Applied Sciences, Ravensburg, Weingarten. Yeah,
Where
Ravensburg.
is
It's in
that?
the south. It's in the south of
In the
Germany.
south
It's
of
in the
Germany.
south.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So, but what do you think with that 1.5 per semester?
Hmm.
Do you think it's fair? Like, do you think it's something that one can actually cope with? Or because that semester is like 6 months, if I get it.
Yes, it's like 6 months.
So
Yes.
that, which means in a year the person will pay like 3,000 euros.
Yes, like 3,000
So
euros. Yes.
if I compare that to some other schools outside Germany, like maybe in the US, that is still
It's still
like,
very fair. It's still very cheap.
yeah, it's still very cheap.
Affordable. Yeah.
It's still very cheap. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I think you've covered a whole lot of things already in terms of the tuition and so you were able to finance your studies with your blocked account. I understand.
Yes.
Not necessarily your blocked account was for your living expense, but then with the scholarship and also with what's it called, with your student jobs.
Jobs.
And
Yes.
how easy was it for you to get a student job? At what time did you actually get a job when you came?
Yes. So my first job was like after the first semester, like during the summer holidays. That was when I did my first student job. But getting it was not. This one thing that is also very important. Like it's always when one is coming to Germany, and or when one is in any country or wherever you're not familiar with, it's always good to have a little bit of networking. Like I didn't know anybody in Germany, but finding out information from people or watching Bukola's YouTube channel, you get tips.
Yeah, so
get
watch
tips
this
on
YouTube
what
to
to
get
do.
on what to do.
Exactly.
Check this YouTube to know what to do. Yeah. So go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. So watching YouTube channel videos like yours or asking from friends around, you know that yes, you have to start applying for jobs as soon as possible. Yeah, exactly. So before I finished my first semester exams, I was already searching for a job. You get a lot of sorry, we cannot get you here, or sorry, you cannot speak enough German, or this. But at the end, after I don't know how many applications, I got a job for the holidays. So it took quite a lot of time.
An effort.
Maybe two months before I got a job.
But you got
Too
it
much of
anyway
applying.
because you didn't stop applying.
Exactly. And I started applying early. I started applying before I even needed a job, actually. Yes, so before I started writing my exams, I was already applying, getting rejection letters. But before I needed a job, really, I got one already.
Okay. And then were you able to tell them that you want to start it out, or did you start immediately? How was it like for you?
Yeah, so for me, for my first job, they told me a particular date to start. Like they wanted me to start at a particular time, which was also favorable for me. That's why I took it also. Yeah, and they told me to start on a date where I'd already finished my examinations already. Like a week afterwards, or the week I finished my last paper was the week they asked me to start. So I said, oh yeah, that's good. So
Wow. So congratulations for the victories of the past.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to move to the next question that I have for you. So we've talked about how you went about your admission, how you went about finances. The next question I want to ask you would be, how did you went about your accommodation? Right. So what were the things you did to get accommodation? Just for people to know, and then we can take it further from there.
Yes. So for my first accommodation, I got a little bit of support from the school. The school sent us like some recommendation. Like when I was back in Nigeria, they sent us like email of recommendations, of, like hostels that we can apply to.
Okay.
So I applied to some of them, and then I got one, like with the recommendation of the school, and the school had some kind of reserved rooms in these dormitories.
For
But
international
but the,
people or
for international students, yeah, from outside. But the condition with this was that you can only stay there for 1 year, only 1 year.
Okay.
Like yes. So I stayed there for 1 year, but while here already, I had to start looking for other accommodations, like other rooms. It's also a bit of a challenge, like to get accommodation. It's, if I'm 100% honest, it's like it's a bit of challenge, but one was not give up. Even up to now, even after school, with if you have a source of income and everything, it's still a challenge to get accommodation. Yes, it's a challenge.
I mean, for generally in Germany, for even for like you said, even for professionals to get
Mm,
accommodation in some cities is like, tug of war. When I was
yes,
planning to move
exactly.
apartments, I thank God I had one apartment already, so I was not in a haste. I was not in a hurry, and I could decide, okay, this apartment is good for me, or I would rather wait it out to get
Mm,
something that I want. Then I
yeah.
eventually got what I wanted, and I was able to quit the old apartment for the new one. But I can
One.
agree with you, or I will agree with you on this, that generally getting accommodation, especially even as a student in Germany, it's not that easy, especially if it's a big city. Yeah, and then that is
Yes.
where the
Yes.
issue of getting accommodation comes in, through the university. Like you said, most of the universities, I know that they have partners. They are not the ones who
Mm,
is necessarily manning the accommodation, but they have partners that they work with. And like you
yes.
said, like in your case, in my case too, I think I got the accommodation even while still in Nigeria. So
Ah, okay.
they booked the room for me, and I
Mm,
was able to stay. I think I stayed there even more than 1 year. Because I
ah,
spoke
okay.
to them that, okay, you know what, I'm trying to get a job and just give me some more time. And but I know that
Mm,
they try to make sure that it's within a specific period. But we
yes.
can talk about accommodation some other time. But just to know that
Mm,
if you ask your university, they can help. They are not the ones who necessarily will give you the accommodation, but they have partners they work with. And I think
mm.
one of the other things maybe that we should mention is that, what was your thought getting accommodation through the university and getting it yourself? Which one is more expensive?
I think getting it through the university could also be expensive
Ah,
because,
okay.
yeah, it could be, it depends on the hostel that their partners have.
Okay.
If it's like a new building, for example, it could be much more expensive than a private one.
Okay.
But in most universities, I would say, have partnership with very big dormitories, very big student dormitories that
We call it
that
student
that,
bonheim.
that exactly phone I'm exactly that give you accommodation at a very cheap rate. So in that case, then it becomes cheaper
Yes.
through the university.
Yes.
It becomes
So
cheaper
for
through the
me too,
university.
I normally would recommend trying to get something through the student bonheims, because from
Mm,
experience I realized that getting it through them is most times cheaper than getting it through private. But if you already,
yes.
you are already in the system in the country, and you have some connections, some networks, and you're able to come together to get somewhere bigger and cheaper, then that's also
Mm,
another option, I would say.
yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Toby. Wow, you are just blowing our minds with all your answers. Thank you. Thank you so,
Thanks
so
for.
much. One of the other things I wanted to ask is, you were a teenager when you came, you know.
Yeah.
So how was it for you? How did you cope with that culture shock of leaving home, coming here without parents? I know this is really important for people who are still young, but I also think for adults too, because adults will come, they're
Mm,
already formed in that sense at home, and then they are coming to a new country where they have
mm,
nobody, they don't know, they have no brother or sister or anything, and then they are coming into this country, they are trying to set up or start a new life. So for you,
mm.
what was your experience like? How do you handle the culture shock? How do you handle, coping with the food thing, with the weather, with tell me or tell us.
Yeah. Oh man, it was a big challenge actually. Like,
Mhm.
you know, different system entirely, different culture entirely.
Mm.
So arriving here, I had this. I was told to have this mindset of being able to adapt
Mm.
to whatever you see. So I was quite as mentally prepared to be shocked. Yeah, yes. As in, I was quite prepared to be shocked. So anything that happened, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I should have been expecting that already. Or yes, but it was a bit at the beginning, it was a bit challenging. Like, having different weather, for example, like it was quite cold, snowing,
Wow, you
like
came
like
in the
sometimes.
winter.
Yes, yes. I came in the winter, and like the weather was so dull. it was depressing actually. Sometimes you're like, oh, it's like you have nobody around. You look outside and everywhere's just dull, quiet, empty, and yeah, it was. Yeah, but we were, um, at that stage, one just have to like always think about, okay, what am I doing here? How can I keep myself busy and alive? How can I keep here? So that was my focus, like distracting myself from the shock around me. Like, okay, it's I don't have the food I want to eat. For example, there's no egusi soup and amala, for example, for me to eat. But okay, what's the new thing I can explore, or what's the new thing I can try out, for example. So, or how can I find a solution to this? How can I
Mm-hmm. You have
go
to be
for
creative.
exactly? You have to be creative. Like, okay, what can I mix together to form something that looks like what I eat at home, for example? Yes. So that was how I was able to get I was able to overcome this like cultural shock. Or also, yeah, there are different ways of greeting, for example, or relating with people or your friends around, which was it was quite different from how I knew it back at home. But one experiences this thing and just learn from it. For example, I was just open to learn or to
To
yes or
learn
to unlearn something.
and
Exactly,
unlearn.
yes, yes, and learn and unlearn, yes, and just adapt and say, okay, this is how they do things over here, and I'm going to try to do it that way also, as long as it's a good way, as in there's no, as long as it's not wrong, like just try to do it also. Like if I'm not supposed to if I'm not supposed to prostrate to my elderly here over in in Germany, or if it's so awkward for them, then I should not do it to embarrass them. Exactly. So all that kind of, I had that kind of mindset to adapt to yes, to the
Wow.
culture here.
That's no,
Yeah.
that's so good, and that is so important. What this particular part, because that is what makes a lot of people get frustrated,
Mhm.
because they think, okay, I'm used to this, I'm used to that, and then, dude, you are in a new country.
Mhm.
There is a way of life.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that you have to, assimilate 100%, because if you do that, then you are even doing yourself a disadvantage.
Mhm.
What I understand that you're saying is that, find a balance, integrate, but do it in a positive way. Find a balance,
Yes.
learn and
Yes.
unlearn things, adapt, be
Yes.
curious, but then be creative.
Mm.
Find solutions
Yes.
around
Yes.
things, and not don't just fall into the depressed state and say, okay, I am here alone, nobody's helping me.
Mm.
I don't have my parents here, and don't do that to yourself. Don't do yourself that service. Be
Mhm.
open-minded, right? Be open-minded,
Yes.
and you see how things work. And I I realize that people that are more open-minded get to, they get along faster than people who are
Mm.
not. Because if you're
Yeah.
open-minded, it helps you, and then the shock is not as much as if you're not open-minded. That's what I would
Yes.
say.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, you're
thank
right.
you very much for
Yes.
that explanation. How to deal with culture shock. So, guys, that's another tip about you know dealing with culture shock when you come to
Yeah.
Germany and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question I'm going to ask you would be how you. So the you so how long did you do your bachelor's program for, and
Yes.
how did you now cope with with those years that you had to take um, German classes?
Yeah. Okay. So I did my bachelor's for 3.5 years, like 7 semesters in total. Um. Yes. So for the first 2 years, where I had to do like German courses, um, yeah, it's just it was like it's a process of learning a lot, like a lot of learning, and it could be a little bit of it could be a little bit challenging or a little bit stressful sometimes when you are used to the system. I spent the first 19 years of my life in Nigeria, you know, learning everything in English, doing everything in English, and have everybody around me, had the same culture, the same kind of background, and all of a sudden you are in a different place. Yeah, a flip exactly, just completely different, and also different cultures, different. One just had to like, oh, I had to find like a means of balancing myself actually, and yeah, for the first 2 years, and I'm grateful to the fact that I was able to also find some people that like me,
To
my
form
as
a
in
community.
a community,
Wow,
exactly,
that's really
community of
important.
people to learn together, to learn from them, to just balance myself up, yes, and also yeah, to ensure that I'm able to integrate also with the system. Like I was actually I grew the interest to know about the German culture also. That also helped me. That helped me, like creating that interest. Yeah, I'm here right now. I want to know about these people.
Yeah,
I want to know.
make the
I'm
best
not
use
just
of
here to
it.
school. Exactly, exactly. Make the best use of what I have, of what you have at that moment. So I said, I'm here right now at this moment. I want to be able to integrate and know what is around me and know about the people, try out their, I was even so excited and always eager to try out their meals, to try out their dishes, to see what they're up to, what they eat, what is this actually. So that helped me the first 2 years, also in learning the language too. Like, once you are eating with them, you need to speak with them, you need to know how they think, you need to know how they discuss or how they interact. Yeah. So
You took a deliberate step of knowing the country, because that is how you can really truly be involved and be integrated into the country. That I understand.
exactly, exactly. Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So which means then you had like German friends already by the time you got into your third year and all of that.
yes, exactly.
And
Yes, I had some German
do you
friends
still
already.
keep those friends to today?
Yes, as in, I mean, not all of them to this moment, but I even have new German friends. Some I speak more than before, some I speak less than before. Yeah, but I mean, yes, I have German friends in who I used to, sharpen my German a little bit more up to this moment. So, yeah, to keep interacting in German. So,
Okay. So
yeah.
so this session we are not going to exceed 1 hour, and then we are going to then move up, have you come back to do something about career, how you made that transition. But
Okay, no problem.
before we bring this particular session to an end, I want to
Yeah,
ask, so how did you now transition from, your bachelor's to master's? What did you
yeah.
do in between? How did you handle that process? How
Mm,
did you find the school? How did you cope with the finances? Did you have to work
mm.
also? You know,
Yes. So before also like I did for my bachelor's before finishing my bachelor degree. I started looking for masters
so
already.
you knew
I
that
started
okay, you're not going straight to work. You have to first do your masters.
exactly. I made up my mind that I want to do my masters before working. Yes. So before I even started my bachelor, no, when I started my bachelor thesis, I started looking for schools already for my masters. So I was like, okay, I have 6 months to write my final bachelor thesis. Then I started saying, okay, where do I want to school, or where do I want to further my education? What do I want to do actually? I started thinking about that a little bit. But I allowed my bachelor thesis to go on for like 2 months first to see if I'm interested in continuing in this field or this area. So I said, oh yes, I would still love to continue with my electrical engineering as masters. So I started looking for schools with electrical engineering and information technology for masters too. But I use the same method like for bachelors. So like there's this website called www.daad.de.
DAD. Not the
DAD,
Okay.
yes. One
Guys,
kind
I
of
will drop the
I
link to
size
DAD. So at the comment section, you can go there and
session.
search for more information.
Yes, that's a very good portal where one can and search for schools. So I started searching for like master degrees, or universities over there. Then also I started just searching generally, like online, like being in Germany here, for example, one will have I heard about some schools already, like oh there's this school here, there's this school here. So I just started searching websites, different schools websites to see what they had to offer. So I started applying for them. So before I finished my before I finished my bachelor thesis, like I think a month or two, no, no, not a month or two, like some weeks before I finished my bachelor thesis, I got like my admission letter for masters. So I submitted my bachelor thesis, finished everything. I think in September 2016, and I had to move to another city in October, and to start my masters. Like I didn't have any break in between, nothing, no, nothing in
I
between.
think that's really awesome. That's really good that you were able to, this it's another possibility I would say for people, for anyone watching this video, that you can easily and quickly do that transition. And I'm sure that if
Mm,
peradventure your school maybe had a course that you really want to do for a master's, probably you would have stayed over at your bachelor school, right? Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct. I'll have stayed there.
Yeah, but
I also got admission there
you also
too
got my
for masters.
see
I got a better, not a better, but another
another
option
offer
somewhere
exactly.
else.
So
Yes.
maybe you just wanted to change environment. You want to see other parts and not just be focused on one particular thing or one particular university. That was why you made that choice to move up north.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
So you went for the North Star.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. I moved from the south to the north so that I could see under. I could look at Germany from above or something. Yeah. Yes.
So
But that,
you wanted to look at Germany from according to him. So that's why he did that thing. So, but I think what is most important here is that the fact that you didn't wait until after your studies before you started applying already, because you knew that, okay, what am I going to do with my life after this bachelor? It's come and it's almost ending. Am I going to
yes.
do I want to continue in this field, or do I want to switch fields? Do I want to do something else entirely with my life? Do I want to start working? Right? I'm sure those were the options you considered. And then you realize, okay, you know
Yes.
what? I think I should just do my master's once and for all. And I know that, okay, at least that is done, and I've built a very good foundation for my career,
Yeah.
and also
Yes.
a good foundation, at least to an extent, for my finances, because at the end of the day, your career should also be able to translate to, in terms of your earnings, your finance, how it would help you.
Yes.
Because I know that
Yes.
if you're employing people, if you want to employ two people, someone with a bachelor's and a master's, most likely you give the person with a master's a higher remuneration, at least for the start. You give them a
Yes.
higher remuneration compared to someone who has a bachelor's.
Bachelor.
And I'm sure those are
Yes.
some of the thoughts that went into your own decision to
Of course.
take that step. Good.
Yes.
And
Yes.
your master's, was it in English or was it in German? And if it was in German, or if it was in English, was language a determination in terms of what you decide to study for in your masters?
Mm. So my master was in German. Like,
Okay. Wow.
yeah, it was like I did maybe just two courses in English in the whole
Wow.
2 years of studying masters. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So your
Which was still a big challenge for me because studying a purely German course for me was like different from when you are studying a German when you're studying in German in a university that is designed for international students or course. Yeah. So yes, in the bachelor after the last year and the last few semesters in German was like tailored down for international foreign students. And then I left that, and I said, okay, exactly, I left that. Then I went for a proper German system, which was a different challenge for me entirely because they didn't tailor the studies for international or foreign students, so they like just took it off
off
like
like
pure German.
pure German,
Yeah,
everybody, we are good to go. Just
ex-
come along,
exactly.
ride
Yes.
the highway.
So Exactly. So I found myself, I had to buckle up even much more than my bachelor's
Wow.
and take up the challenge.
Yeah, but then you made it, because if you didn't make it, I mean, you will not say you have your masters in your pocket now. You made it.
Exactly.
It's
Yes,
awesome.
yes,
It's a good one.
yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. So it's just a testimony for everyone out there to just say you can do anything you put your mind into. If you want it and you work hard towards it, with God's grace and God's and prayer, you will make it.
Yeah, that's really powerful. With God's grace and prayer, you will make it. You will make it.
Yes.
Your limitation is here. Your limitation. The moment you are able to put down
Exactly.
that wall, you can do it. And now this is
Of
not
course.
inspired to aspire. This is this is real life, right?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
All right. So maybe one more question before we wrap this particular session up. Like I said, guys, we would bring Tobi back to come and talk about what he did about job application, how the process was for him, and how he has been able to improve himself in terms of career wise. Yeah, so we'll come to that in another session, so come back. But then before we go on a final note, I wanted to ask, so what is that thing that's what is that thing that you would say really helped you on this journey? What is that thing that really helped you, to be able to, between, so with all that you've said, within 5 years or so, you did your bachelor's and your master's.
Yeah.
So what was that thing that kept you going? What was that thing that made you believe that this is possible?
Mm. Yes, that's a very good question. Right from my head, I was saying God made it possible. Like, but and that thing that also made it possible, which is God in you, actually, is good. Is like having that confidence in yourself and that belief in yourself that you can do it. So even when it's challenging, when it seems impossible, you tell yourself,
I can do
I
it.
will overcome.
I will
I
do
can do
it.
it. I will overcome. I will exactly. I think I will do. I have no other choice but to do it.
There's no choice, no going back. We're on this journey.
No going back. No, no. Where will I go back to? Will I go back to UI, where my mates are? Yeah. Would they take me back? No, they won't take me back. I dumped them, so they will say, "Be going with your with your nonsense." But you say, yeah. But just having that confidence that you can do it, and you will do it, and you will succeed. Yeah, that pushed me every day,
Wow.
like every time, even at moments when you feel lonely. If you have nobody here, for example, when you feel lonely, when you feel like, oh, what am I doing here? How will I get money? Or if you get a rejection letter at a place where you have been looking up to like so much to, uh, yes, exactly. You just tell yourself, yeah, I will push on. A better one is coming, and I will do it. I will succeed. I will achieve my goals. So that motivation actually pushed me,
Okay.
and it's still pushing me till now.
Wow. Thank you so much, guys. I think that was a very fabulous time we've had with Toby. Toby, thank you a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think sharing your experience has really shed so much light for people who are looking to come to Germany to study for free, tuition free, to be precise, for both their bachelors and both their masters. And I wanted to ask one because, yeah, your masters, was it tuition free, or do you have to pay semester fees, or what were the fees involved? Because I think this is an issue. Was it?
Yes.
How was that
Yeah.
before we close that gap?
So we had to. It was tuition free also, but we had to like just pay like all these little levies, like all this little amount of money. Which our ticket fee, actually, the ticket fee was like the most. Like semester ticket is what you use to enter like the train and the buses during the semester, and the school takes care of that.
Okay.
So they take the money from you and give you the ticket.
And how much was that?
So everything in total for me back then was like let's say 300 euros, like
For 6 months.
euros for 6 months.
So
Yes,
300 euros, and that covers your maybe the basic administration things they would have to handle in the school, and most importantly, your transport. And
your transport is covered.
yeah, and then
for
can
those
can
6
you?
months.
I know that transport, that semester ticketing is really really important. Can you give
Yes.
people an idea of how important it is?
Yes. So for the semester ticket, you can use this like in your region. It depends on where you're
No
studying.
matter how big
I
your
don't have
region is.
No matter how big your region is, you can go with the bus, with the train, with the if you have boats or ferries in your region, you can enter the ferries, the boats, everything in your region. If airplanes are flying, no, that's not really covered. But I think it covers everything, every means of transportation in your region, so you can move as freely as you want to, as long as you are as a student. You even pay the the lowest amount of money for transportation.
Yeah. And that
yes.
is very important, because if the moment you lose that semester ticket, you will be paying like almost maybe 10 times. Because I remember that
Yes.
when I lost my when I graduated and then I had to like switch to normal people status, I was paying like almost 100 euros per month for my
Yeah.
ticket. And what that
Exactly.
100 euros per month ticket will cover is nothing. It's just within the city of Hanover where I was. It's nothing
Yeah.
compared to the whole region, the whole state. So
Exactly. Yes.
that's why I still believe it's still tuition free, because at the end of the day you have to have some form of transport, and that 300 euros that you're paying for semester, which is 6 months, that's like 50 euros for it's nothing. I would say
It's
it's
nothing. No. Yeah, I think the amount they take for semester tickets or for the transportation from a student will cover maybe a normal person for maybe some weeks in a month. What they take for
6
6 months
months,
from a
yeah.
student will cover
Yeah.
a normal person for like some weeks
Yes.
in a month, or a month sometimes.
Yeah, so guys, it's really, really tuition free. So schools are there that you can study in English, that you can do tuition free, that will be willing to give you admission if you try, and that you can actually succeed in them. So thank you so much, Tobi, for this wonderful session. I hope to bring you back, for the next one as announced. And guys, if you have any question regarding studying free in Germany, whether for bachelor's, for master's, or for PhD, or anything, or you have any question to Tobi, just drop them in the comment section, and we'll pick it up for our next session with Tobi, and then we can, you can discuss it further, or for any other person that will be coming if it's a general question that we found in the house. All right, I'm going to see you some other time. Thanks a lot, Tobi, for honoring this invitation. And I'm going to see you some other times. I believe we can do a lot of things together. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on this platform.
Day, and
thank you so much.
I will see you in the next session. Bye bye.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.